Doing it live. All right, welcome to week 15 of Podcast Heroes now. On the 15th episode, we've made it pretty far, doing well, and we're now live streaming on Twitch.
Can I point out, we've never missed an episode.
We've never missed an episode.
We've never missed a week.
Had to delay a couple of days
and
sometimes,
we're one of the first, we're one of the only podcasts that started before launch, and the only podcast that started before launch that has never missed a week.
That's true.
There you go.
So we're pretty good. We're nerdy and have no lives, so that's all I'm saying. We got some really exciting news this week. Of course, everyone knows Gamescom is going on right now. That's always a really big Blizzard announcement time. They like to spend a lot of it. You know, it's almost like their pre-hype to BlizzCon, which usually happens in November. And so this is where they, break the lesser news that they still want to get out there, but it's not their big hypey news that they usually announce at BlizzCon itself.
Which is strange. You know, I wasn't expecting the very final... This is the final expansion for World of Warcraft, right?
Yes, this is the very last one.
You would have thought they would have saved that sort of news for BlizzCon.
Yeah.
So that kind of tells you, it's like, what are they going to announce at BlizzCon?
Either some massive... heroes like campaign. My personal anticipation, Warcraft 4.
I see. Yeah, that we've been having some disagreement on this. We don't know. I think it's going to be an Overwatch date official announcement. And what were you saying earlier? It's like the date announcement of the StarCraft.
We were saying there's going to be a lot of Overwatch. For sure, a lot of Hearthstone. That's been really popular. That's blowing up.
Right.
I know I don't play, but it's a big deal around because it's just so easy to play and accessible.
If you haven't watched your Battle.net, Overwatch is there.
Yeah.
The icon is there, and that was so exciting when the Heroes icon showed up.
I know. I thought I got the beta for a second, and then it's just learn more.
Oh, it was a soul-crushing defeat.
But of course, you have a Mac.
Yeah, no. But hey, I got into the Heroes beta, so I mean, they're looking out there.
There's
for
a chance.
us. Yeah.
Well, what I'm thinking is it's going to be the very last thing they announce at Gamescom is the Overwatch beta. Yeah. And so they're going to talk about the beta, and then they'll have a big announcement date. I wouldn't be surprised if we start expecting to see some Overwatch heroes in Heroes of the Storm, though, very soon.
I bet the moment they release that beta.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You think they're going to hype
that those champions are in the works.
Okay, so, I mean, I've spent some time looking at Overwatch because I love FPSs. So I've kind of gotten to know some of the characters. Have you guys taken a chance to look at any of the characters they have there?
Vaguely. I've been playing Gigantic, which is very similar style, but I haven't really been paying attention to the Overwatch heroes.
Okay. Because they announced a new hero today actually for Overwatch.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was checking him out, and I mean, he looks awesome, dude. It looks very fast paced.
So can you guys give any preliminary guesses as to what you think the first Overwatch hero to Heroes of the Storm will be?
I'm guessing it's that gorilla.
I'm thinking too. His name's Winston.
Yeah,
I believe.
He was in the original trailer, and I mean, he was like a big moment in that trailer.
And
cool.
And he's very fitting to what Heroes of the Storm can be.
Yeah.
He switches both between being ranged and being melee, from what I've seen in Overwatch. And he goes into like a Berserk Fury mode, which could very easily be an ultimate.
Some stuns going there.
Stuns, CC. So I could see a potential warrior coming out of this, which would be really, really awesome in order to see. Because, my love of warriors.
We don't got enough of those
around. Especially with the 2 they've announced.
Yeah.
Which leads us to the Gamescom official announcement, since we kind of got a little sidetracked there. First thing I want to talk about is Monk. They gave him a name.
Kharazim, Monk of Ivnograd? Let's take a look.
Yeah, I know nothing. I've never played Diablo.
Monk of Ivograd.
Ivogorod. There's another O in there. You're missing the
Monk
other.
of Ivgorod.
You're missing the other O, though.
Hey, we you know what? We got there.
We got it, dude. We're there.
So he'll be the first support character from the Diablo universe. And he's very unique compared to other characters because of his trait. Bentley, why don't you break it down for us?
Yeah, dude. So first off, his level 1 talent. Okay, you're gonna be able to choose what trait he has. You're gonna be able to go with either Transcendence. That's gonna increase your how much heals you do for your team. You're gonna also have Iron Fist. That's gonna basically buff up your damage.
Okay.
And then the last one, I think the last one is Insight, which allows him to restore his mana. So you're going to be seeing a sustain build, a heal build, and a damage build.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's first level talent. That's what you're going to choose as your trait.
It's interesting that they would come out. Well, it was leaked so long ago that the traits were going to be selected for him.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that right after Dustin Browder was talking about Tyrande and Tassadar and Rhaegar, saying we want to take a close look at our supports and make sure that they're not a hybrid role.
Exactly.
And then they come out with the most hybrid role we've seen in this game.
It's very true. It almost leads me to think that they're trying to rethink how to, bust out supports, how to bust out other classes and characters.
How to bust out
maybe merge
bruisers,
yeah,
which
merge
we
those
will talk
lines.
about later, thankfully, because this is something I really, really want to happen. Let's talk about his abilities, though. Monk's abilities. Can you just give us a brief rundown on this?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So Radiant Dash, his Q, teleports to a friendly or an enemy hero. So, and I'm guessing there's probably gonna be a talent if you teleport to him that's gonna heal. Maybe you do a buff, something like that. I bet.
And from what I've heard, it has charges.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So there's like 2 or 3 stacks of it, so you
Probably.
can bounce around real fast.
So his W, Breath of Heaven, heals Kharazim and other nearby heroes. Seems to boost their movement speed as well. Could be a specific talent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
His E is going to be Deadly Reach. This extends his attack range and deals bonus damage. So, I'm guessing it's going to buff his normal attack.
Like his normal attack
And
range.
Yeah.
isn't it for 3 attacks?
It doesn't say on here, but it says it just helps his range and he deals more damage while it's active. So,
Okay.
We'll
So
see more.
That'll be fun. And
Yeah.
what about his ultimates?
So he's got 2 7-sided strike, becomes untargetable, and lands 7 attacks on nearby enemies. And it's going to be like an AoE. Yeah, dude, it looks insane.
AoE
You
dash
guys,
round,
yep.
deal damage.
Are we
Okay.
assuming that prioritizes heroes?
It does.
I'm sure it does.
And then his last one is Divine Palm. Puts an allied hero in stasis and greatly heals them if their HP is depleted during that stasis.
Okay.
So,
Nice.
I mean, nice all-around support, but I can see multiple ways to build him already, and he's not even out.
And I do like that variety that Blizzard
yeah.
is able to
Yeah.
give us in these kind of champions.
I mean,
so that'll be really nice.
They're always so good at coming out with unique heroes,
Right.
and this is just another example.
It kind of
Absolutely.
makes me wish, with the introduction of that we were playing this all in Warcraft 3, where you could hit A, click on your ally, and attack them.
Yeah.
So bring whoever's monk's target down, take them, your team switches onto your teammate, destroys them, and then fully heals them.
Huh.
But I don't think there's any...
I can see that leading to too much trolling opportunity.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So probably not.
That's
but that would be
it's
cool.
not their style.
Because
with
I'd
heroes.
kill you as much as I could. All right, so that's the fun monk announcement. I think we should expect to see him next week.
Oh, yeah,
Don't
dude.
you think?
Oh, yeah.
Because that's usually about when
Like next Tuesday?
Yeah, hopefully next
Probably.
Tuesday. So about a week from today, 6 days.
That would be in their timeline.
Yeah, are you guys saved up for him at all?
Oh, I'm getting there. I think I'm around
nowhere
9K.
near.
I'm around
nowhere
9K.
near.
I picked up Asmodan,
Finally.
and then I picked up Gazlo.
Oh, so you're just...
And
So you're nowhere
I
near.
have like barely anything, but I am so excited about Gazlo.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Play him in quick match before you take him into Hero
Oh,
League, please. Because I don't want to play with that.
Mr. First Game Leoric Hero League.
Yeah, but how did it went terrible.
Horrible.
It went terrible. All right, so let's talk about the map real quick that's coming out. Infernal Shrines.
Yeah.
I'm excited. This
It
looks
looks
awesome.
Amazing.
This looks fantastic.
So here, let me break it down a little bit. It's a mid-sized map with 3 lanes, 3 shrines, gradually gather power, and once activated, will spawn waves of monsters that will need to be defeated within the shrines.
Right.
So it's kind of just a thing while you're capturing it. I'm not expecting it to be super crazy, but it shows that some heroes won't be able to solo. That's what's a good thing to point out.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah. Once monsters are defeated, players can capture the shrines, and it will summon a huge Punisher that will push lanes for heroes.
And each Punisher has their own abilities. One's like Mortar, the other is Arcane, and the last one is Frost.
Yep. And the skills that the Punishers use are straight out of Diablo. If you've played any Diablo 3, you'll recognize all the skills.
Break those down.
It's gonna be so there's gonna be like the
Arcane one has I know the line that travels in
laser,
like a circle.
Yeah, the laser that rotates in a circle. Those are horrible. There's gonna be the mortars that just come down. There's just a bunch of little circles everywhere. It's pretty hard to. I mean, it looks like a lot from the video.
The Frost one almost looks like Arthas's Howling Fjord.
Yeah, it kind of just freezes an area, basically.
And it's worth mentioning, these Punishers have the ability to berserk and go on a hero-killing rampage.
Yep.
And hunt down heroes.
Which will be awesome.
It is going to be cool to see.
It actually says here they will be able to jump on them and over walls.
So that'll be good. And then it's also important to note that they're using the same camps that are in the Battlefield of Eternity. So they're using the alternative camps.
Right.
Which leads me to believe it's like when they start coming up with other themed camps, hopefully StarCraft before long, World of Warcraft in the not too distant future, will they have different camps for those too?
And it doesn't feel redundant because we're still in the Eternal Conflict campaign.
Yeah.
Right.
And they had promised us we're going to use the same kit, and they did.
Right.
And so it's not a disappointment. We're all just excited about it.
I'm really excited about it. And then we got 2 new heroes hyped up. One's absolutely official. The other's all but confirmed. Let's start with the absolutely official one, though. Rexxar.
Rexxar and Misha.
Misha the bear.
Misha the bear.
So, counter to what he uses in Hearthstone, he's going back to his original Warcraft weapon, which is axes.
And dual-wielding axes.
Yeah. And he's tossing those axes.
It is important to note, I'm going to interrupt you real quick, because they said in his description, and this is going to be, we're going to talk about this later in the podcast, he's a ranged warrior.
Yeah.
He's not an assassin, he's a ranged warrior.
Which is interesting.
How can you tank from range? Which brings up bruisers. It's happening.
Yeah.
And it really is. He is Rexxar the Beastmaster.
Yep.
Because he's using hawks. He's got boars in his arsenal. He's got Misha the bear. Am I missing anybody?
That's about it. And then,
I mean, it looks fun. They have some skins out for him too, or they've shown his master skin, which looks pretty great. They've also shown. I'm trying to remember the exact name of it, but I can't. Gosh, what was it? Was it It was some like fire skin or whatever.
Frost.
Was it Frost? And then there's like a fire variant to it.
And a stone variant.
Yeah, and that looks pretty awesome.
Misha's
and it does look like
cool.
Misha looks different in those as well. So that'll be really cool.
I want to see when they replace Misha with like a freaking lion or something.
Right.
Ooh.
It paves the way for some pretty cool stuff.
They could call it Cecil too.
Oh. Too soon.
Too soon.
Too soon.
I'm sorry.
Dang.
I don't feel bad.
If you're feeling bad about it, go buy a Beanie Baby.
Yeah, or give us money and we'll buy you a Beanie Baby for you and keep it for ourselves. And then let's talk about the last hero, which is the one I think I'm most excited for out of these three, Artanis.
Yeah.
I really like that they're starting to go to these games. They're games, StarCraft, Diablo, and so on and so forth, and picking out champions that they haven't created or they don't have a class for.
Right.
So it's like, finally we're seeing a Diablo support in Monk. We're going to see a warrior StarCraft.
Yeah.
I think World of Warcraft's already covered all the bases.
Oh, yeah.
They definitely have support. They have specialists. They have assassins. So
World of Warcraft is an infinite pool of champions.
And I love it. Love it for it.
It's interesting. We were saying beforehand, I just started playing StarCraft, so I don't know a ton about Artanis, but I do know he's the leader of the Protoss. And he looks precariously like Zeratul.
He kind of has double swords going on instead of the Assassin's Blade. And
there's going to be that interaction at the beginning. And I really want it to be, Zeratul, I am your father.
I don't think he's his father, dude.
I don't think it matters.
Yeah, but you won't see a lot of Artanis until like Legacy of the Void, though. unfortunately. He's not in a lot of the other expansions.
Really?
Yeah.
That's probably why they're hyping him, because
Exactly.
Legacy of the Void's coming out. That's all about the Protoss.
Yep.
And
all about the Protoss.
All about the Protoss and StarCraft. So I think it's going to give a new depth to potential champions to come out. And so maybe we'll start seeing, even more supports come out instead of another Warcraft support. Because, I mean, let's be real. There's only 2 non-Warcraft supports now with the inclusion of Monk. I'm ready for more.
They need more support.
They need more supports.
Is that the case?
Yeah, it is the case. Think about it. We got Lili,
Well,
we got Tyrande, we
That
got
just depends
Tassadar,
if you
who's
consider
StarCraft.
Abathur
He's
a
not
support.
Abathur's
He's
a
a
specialist.
He's a specialist.
He's a
dude.
specialist.
But he's constantly played more like a support.
Yeah, but we can debate
Yeah.
all day about
No,
who's
you're
played
totally
more
right.
like what.
Yeah, dude.
Because, Tyrande and Tassadar
And
are played
speaking
a
of
lot like
Abathur-
assassins now.
Yeah.
Abathur is nowhere to be found.
Yet
this
again,
week in free week.
another free week, no Abathur. But that's after 2 more pieces of fun news.
Ooh.
First being, Dustin Browder yesterday sent out a tweet that said, in reference to when is Season 1 going to begin, he said, no start date is known yet. And this is the guy who runs Heroes of the Storms.
Yeah.
So he doesn't even know if there's going to be a start date. His exact words were, a start date is known yet, not very soon.
All right.
I wouldn't expect it until after World Championships.
I agree. Probably, maybe not even until 2016.
Yeah.
Agreed.
They might take a month off for off season, and then
And I'm not disappointed about that.
I mean, I don't know, dude. Some people are really disappointed. This is a long preseason.
It is a long preseason,
right.
but it's their first preseason. And Dustin Browder pointed out, we don't want to have a competitive environment before we have bans in place,
right.
and before it's still possible to ban out all supports.
Right.
Pick Uther, ban the others, force them to pick Lili or something.
Right.
Which, not that Lili isn't great,
She's terrible.
but Lili is terrible. And Lili got doubled in price, which is interesting. Makes me think maybe they're going to rework her. Or bring back
something.
in, or put back in that really OPW.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So it's probably going to have to. It's just weird to me that they'll have a world championship before Season 1 even begins.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me carrying over my sports background there. You don't really. You typically have a full season. It'll be interesting. But also, what I'm really curious about, and what I'd like to hear more from Dustin Browder, is when Season 1 begins, is there going to be a rank reset? Is there going to be a way for these people who, like Aaron has said in multiple weeks, who used Stitches, who used Arthas, who used Diablo, when they were all, incredibly broken champions, is there going to be a way to get those people out of the single-digit ranks where they kind of probably don't belong, and let in people who haven't really used those broken champions just yet? So I'm really curious as to how that'll begin.
Yeah.
We could have debates for days about, it's like, which is the ethical route to go. So, please email us at niceguysnetwork@gmail.com, tweet us, Facebook message us, let us know your opinions, and we'd like to discuss
I think
it.
a lot of people get to rank 1, and then they play as minimally as possible.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
And what I've heard is that you can have up to 7 games as a buffer once you're at rank 1, and you can lose 7 games without losing a rank. Then get back into that rank, by winning some, and you have another 7.
God, I would really love for that to happen to me.
It would be nice, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think preseason's a lot of time. They're going to use preseason as a way to really get their wits together as far as a ranking system goes, because they are really unique so far in how they've done their rankings, with just it being numbers, and winning gets you X points, loses you X points, and so on and so forth. So I'm really curious if
Last
they'll change
week you mentioned you were upset with the ranking system. You get put with people who've clearly never played the game.
Yeah, or are still rank 46 when I'm ranked 20.
And I experienced the same thing in Quick Match. People are saying, hey, I've never played this game before. I'm like, how are you playing with me?
Right.
Not that I'm upset about it.
It's Quick Match.
I'm fine playing with new players, but I want to win.
Yeah.
And Dustin Browder came out and said, and it's implemented right now. Your quick matches, and I believe Hero League as well, takes into consideration your total number of games played and puts you up against people with similar ranking and also similar games played.
And that's really nice, and I really hope that kind of continues. I'd really like to see a system to prevent such rash climbs and descends, because I just really have issue with that, where I can win 2-3 games, only go up 200 300 points, and then suddenly lose 7 in a row because shit circumstances, someone DC'd, whatever and ever, and then suddenly I'm back 5 steps from where I started, and I just like a little bit of buffer. That includes for winning too. It's like if I go on a big win streak, but I'm getting lucky more than I am skilled, I don't think I should raise up and rank incredibly high. So I'd really like to see a change to this, and I want to know how they're going to do it. I wonder if they'll copy like League of Legends, where you have to win X number of games before you go up a rank, or you get a chance to be at the bottom of your rank until you lose it.
It would be interesting to know what gets us rank points.
Yeah,
like, it would be cool if they broke it down.
They won't, because it's a very easy way to break it.
Yeah, they would break it. But I mean, right now it's just like we were playing a game and we were doing really well, and we'd get like what? 50 points.
50 points.
Yeah, and then we'd lose 100.
150
Yeah,
points.
exactly. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
That's the only question.
So Dustin Browder, if you're out there listening, and I know you are, email us, let us know. We won't tell anyone else, but we'll keep it to ourselves. We're just curious.
We won't tell anyone on our podcast that we do once a week.
Promise. Fingers crossed. And then the other piece of news that's kind of important to bring up, well, not really important, but if you'd like to spend real money on this game, there's a lot of new skins either coming out or already out.
Cash money.
The one that's already out is Novazon. It's a Amazon play on Nova.
Now Billy says he's disappointed.
I'm very disappointed
that her left breast is still there.
Well, right breast. Because I thought about it.
Right breast, because Amazonian warriors would remove it so that their archery would be easier.
Absolutely.
But that would just be awkward.
Well, it's all about historical accuracy when we're playing Heroes of the Storm, a game where you can play as Tychus with a machine gun against Thrall with a hammer. It's like it's all about being able to get it right, and
or
so
now,
Blizzard really
and how him repeatedly shooting you with that machine gun like 400 times
while you're running at him.
I'm fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you can ride a treasure goblin now, apparently.
That's gonna be weird.
Or a doubloon.
And like Aaron said earlier, that mount's just
absolutely
slightly worse than the Hearthstone card.
I like the Hearthstone card.
Okay,
it's kind of cool.
But the doubloon is just like a crappy version of the Hearthstone
card.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, it's kind of
I think the one I'm kind of excited to see is Sergeant Doom Hammer. I really hope it doesn't mean I play with more Sergeant Hammers, but it did look like a cool skin.
I think now if you do play with them, it's because they have the skin and they want to see it.
Right. But I think the most important one to point out is Judgment Uther. Ooh. And can we talk about for 2 seconds how amazing every single Uther skin is?
Uther got definitely like the best end of the deal with everything.
With all the skins.
He's super strong. He's got great ultimates.
Yep.
He's just good.
We don't see him played that much, and or the skins. We don't see a lot of those skins out and about.
Yeah, I'd really like to see it increase. I picked Uther up recently, so I don't know. I've played a couple of games as him. It went for me, but okay. I recognize that he is very strong, so I need to get better at him personally. It's just fun. Have a point and click stun, which is just amazing. And then, all those heals. And once I get better at them, I think I'm going to buy one of those skins. Either the Lumberjack one or the Mecha one. Because I really like those.
Or the
Judgment.
Judgment.
Or maybe the Judgment one.
It looked awesome.
And then get his steed.
The steed with
the blue
it as well.
one looked really cool.
That's true. You're right. So, time will tell. First, I have to get good at Uther. Let's talk free week.
Oh.
No Abathur.
Sure. I'll break this down.
No Abathur. No Abathur. December 16th.
I think that they're...
Rest in peace.
I think they're just going to, delete him from the servers eventually and be like, you think anyone will notice if we just completely remove Abathur?
There's all these people, like rank 35 and earlier.
It's interesting because he's very present in high-level play.
Yeah. Well, it's because he pairs so well with melee assassins. You put him on an Illidan, a Butcher, a Zeratul, any of those guys, and it's crazy.
And on objective-driven maps, specifically, I'm thinking Sky Temple, his nests are a huge benefit to the team. Being able to slow somebody down for a solid 10 seconds takes them an extra 10 seconds to reach that temple to channel.
Yeah.
that can change the game.
Well, and then one of the strats you can do with them on specifically Sky Temple is, like the first part of the game, like we talked about in our map stats a few weeks back, the top temple and the middle temple are going. So in theory, every single person on the map should be up there. You take Abathur, you put him in the bottom lane in a bush. He collects that XP, gives your team an XP bonus.
Oh, yeah.
And then,
Oh, yeah.
Aaron's looking like you've never even heard this, have you?
No. Well, I haven't. But I was actually thinking, I was watching a pro game. I think it was Na'Vi versus Team Liquid.
Uh-huh.
And they had the Abathur.
Yep.
And what won them the game was everyone was distracted, and that little slug teleported into the middle, took the dragon, won the game.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's what made Na'Vi beat Team Liquid
And the
in one of the
like
biggest
64
upsets
or something like
in
that, yeah.
like that gaming history.
Right.
People were really upset that two of the most reputable teams went up against each other essentially first.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can see that.
Because
But at the same time, I don't know if they were put that way because they're so high level.
I think it's just because of how seeding worked. So the way the seeding works for these open tournaments is that it takes your previous tournament presence and puts it into the factor and gives you points for it and whatnot. So Team Liquid has just been running the table on, running the gauntlet, just running everyone into the ground over in Europe. So they're obviously by far and away the number one overall seed. Whereas Na'Vi hasn't had as much of a presence in the tournament scene. They're a relatively new team, an old name, but a relatively new team. They haven't played in as many tournaments. So while obviously they're good and they have, that prestige of Na'Vi carrying over from specifically Dota 2, they're obviously going to attract good players, so they get good players but a lower seeding, and it puts them on the same side of the bracket as a team like Team Liquid. You just look at any really bracket-based tournament like that, and that's going to happen all the time. You can only have so many, seed 1, seed 2s, and seed 3s. Good teams are still going to be put in a lower seeding, and eventually they're going to run into each other.
Yeah.
Right, and I don't understand what people are upset about. I think that they planned it as they would plan any other tournament.
Right.
These are the people playing. We're not going to give anyone special treatment.
Right.
We're going to play in the tournament, and whoever ends up against whoever, that's how we're going to play it out.
Right.
And I think that's how it has to be. I don't want teams that are more reputable to get special treatment just because they're that team.
In theory, Liquid should have beat Na'Vi. So nobody should be mad about it.
Not maybe should have, because Navi's excellent.
Just
they're
stats.
really good
But
players.
just stats alone, right?
Right, according to their history
It's
of
like
winning everything.
The fans should be more mad at Team Liquid than they should be at anybody else, because here's the number 1 ranked team and they fall to before they even get to the round of 32. And it's crazy.
Is that true?
I think they were in the round of 64 when they lost. I don't know for sure. It's before the round of 8.
Yeah, they were not in the round of 8.
Which is where they really should have ended up.
That was a pretty big detour from where we were actually
going there. We were talking about Free Week. Aaron, I think you were going to be reading the list.
Sure. No Abathur. That's how that all began.
Yeah, no Abathur. Well, let's talk about Abathur. No, all right.
All right, this week, I'm excited. Butcher's free. I'm pumped. I haven't played him. I want to give him a try, get him to 5.
I know I'm going to play him once and absolutely hate him and probably never play him again. Just like any other assassin in this game.
I regret buying him, dude.
Thrall, Nova, Azmodan, ETC, Lili, and Tassadar. My team of 5, and it was not easy this week because...
Not at all.
Those are not necessarily conventional teams.
Do you have Nova circled?
No.
You don't, thank God.
Thrall, Lili, ETC, Azmodan, and Tassadar. As an aside, get over yourself. Nova's excellent. But I just didn't see her in this team comp.
Fair enough. All right.
I got ETC for sure, since he's just the only warrior, I guess. I'm not going to go with Butcher here. I'm going to go with Thrall instead. Tassadar, Azmodan, and honestly, Nova, probably, depending on the map. But I mean, if
Aaron
just because of the
doesn't
sustain,
pick Nova and you do.
Yeah,
He
dude.
loves Nova
Wow.
just as much.
I like Nova, dude, but she's only good on specific maps, and if it's a good Nova, there's a lot of circumstances that have to be right
and
for it to go right.
And in certain rings of play.
Yeah,
Down
exactly.
in the rank 40s, if you're good on Nova, you
Might
will
as
not
well,
be in the
okay.
40s very long.
That's true. My team would be Asmodin, ETC, Lili, Tassadar, and Butcher. Everyone knows I'm not a big Lili fan, but she still puts out good heals, and that is kind of important. I love the idea of either a double support or a double warrior, and this is kind of, almost both of those together, because Asmodin has the highest base health pool in the game. So he does kind of lend himself to be a tankier specialist, so you can kind of play the off-tank role. ETC, he's trash, but it's fine. He can get in there, he can get in the middle of the fight, hold everyone still while your Tassadar, while your Butcher, while your Asmodin are just wailing on all of them. Tassadar, I think, is one of the best top 3 supports in the game right now. His shield is amazing, his damage is awesome, and a well-placed Force Wall can really change a game, while also a really good, what's the other old, Archon? That deals, that's just a damage dealer. That's insane.
It's strong. It turns you into an assassin.
I'm seeing some good CC with your
good CC.
Combo there.
And Butcher is one of the best melee assassins in the game. I know you have to be able to play him well, but if he gets a good flank with his not lands to the slaughter. Well, yeah, but with the unstoppable charge with the other ultimate, the furnace.
Yeah.
Oh, it's horrifying.
Furnace of Hell or whatever it's called. Yeah, if you get that good, it's one-shotting any squishy assassin the other team has on their backside, and then at that point you automatically win.
The scary thing is, though, if there's only one warrior on the team, Butcher's going to be focused a lot.
But that's why I have both Asmodin and ETC.
Yeah, but Asmodin's going to be in the back, dude. He's going to be throwing those orbs. He's going to be setting out those minions.
Yeah, but that's why I would say play him more of an off tank. Get him into the mix some, because if he can distract from Butcher being focused for even just a little bit of time, it's game changing.
Well, and I can see a wombo combo with ETC's like stun, the massive his ult stun, Butcher's stun, and Tassadar's freaking
Psionic Storm.
Yeah, exactly. All that all together right there.
And then you throw on a Jug of 1,000 Cups or whatever the hell it's called, and then you're healed up in no time.
Yep.
But this is a weak free week to me. I only like it because Butcher's in there because I want to give him a shot. But other than that,
I want to point out, for the past 4 weeks, your comment about the free week has been that it's a weak free week.
I haven't liked any of them.
Maybe. But you can't expect them to just pick a ton of strong champions to be free all at once.
But I want them to.
They have to, evenly go around to everyone except for Abathur.
Yeah, except for Abathur. Well, it always seems like ETC or Diablo's on the free week too, which is just getting
Who are you guys going to be playing a lot this week then, with this free week? Who do you not have that you want to play, kind of?
Honestly, I'm going to play a lot of Gazlo. I want to get good at Gazlo.
Okay. Maybe a game as Butcher. Other than that, I can't really see me using this free week.
Maybe
Asmodin if I have a specialist.
Asmodin, dude. He's super fun to play. Don't you agree? I think
yeah.
Yeah, all of the pros play him too.
Well, now that I've seen the pros play him and how they play him, maybe I'll give him another try, because I hadn't seen that before. So maybe I'll get better at him. I've been having a lot of fun as Zagara though, so if I have any specialist quest, I'll probably bust out Zagara.
What specifically are you talking about, the way they play Asmodin?
Well, it's just how they build it, because I built completely differently since I was completely ignorant to how they play it. So this will be, a fun transition, a fun change.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the free week. Terrible in my opinion. Like Aaron says, I keep calling them all terrible because they are all terrible. Especially since they included that one StarCraft champion who shall remain nameless. But let's go to our next favorite map segment. Map stats.
Good enough.
Close enough.
First one, dude.
We're talking Garden of Terror, which you guys seem to not like.
It's just because I played it a lot.
Okay.
It was up a lot. Don't you agree? And during the beta, I feel like it was up. Every 3 games, I would have a Garden of Terror for sure.
Okay, fair enough. What about you, Aaron? Why don't you like it?
I like it fine. It's not my favorite.
Okay. It's one of my favorite maps personally, so I'm happy that we're talking about it instead of, Haunted
Are you a
Mines.
Terror main?
I am not a Terror main. I actually like to let other people take the Terror so I can run around and do whatever
I have a theory that people who are Terror mains, it's because a part of the ranking algorithm takes into consideration the average damage that you deal. Mm-hmm. And if you take the Terror, you're going to do the most damage. Period.
Siege damage at the least.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If not most hero damage. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's all speculation. I don't know that.
All right, so let's talk the official stats. The first night happens at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. The next night starts after the night ends 3 minutes and 20 seconds later. So that means once all of the camps have been cleared, you don't have to worry about all of the Uniseeds being picked up, and you don't have to worry about if a terror is active. Once the night concludes and it goes back to dawn, then 3 minutes and 20 seconds later is when the next night starts. Which I think that's a unique part of this map, because all the other maps usually wait for all the objectives to finish before it starts its count to the next one. But this one's a little bit different in that way, and I like that.
And it's because we control when we take that objective. You were pointing out earlier, seeds can be left on the ground. They will not affect anything, like if you leave a skull in the mines.
Right.
There is 3 little minions per camp. There's 4 camps, 2 up top, 2 on the bottom.
Of the little minions.
And then 1 boss top, 1 boss bottom.
Yep.
If you want to get a golem your first, or a terror your first night, you need to take one of the small camps, send a couple people to secure 10 up top or bottom, and then switch and have the whole team cap all the rest of them on one side.
And that's because you need 100 seeds in order to get the terror. There's 180 seeds on the map every night, 90 on each side. The big monsters do 60 apiece, and each little camp does 15. So that means you need to get at least 10 from the other side in order to get a terror on your first go.
Even if you're just going to be in passing, you can hit one of those little guys. They each drop 5, and they drop them periodically as you're dealing damage. So you can pick up one and deprive them of something if they're really close.
Now, I'm going to blow your mind here and say this, but this is actually a map that Nova can be somewhat useful on.
Really?
But Zeratul too, for the same reason. The reason I say that is because once people are, damaging, the main terror boss on the other side or whatever, if you're cloaked, you can run in there and just kind of snag some without people really seeing you. And that not only gives your team more seeds, but takes seeds away from the other team. So if that's a way you can get your 10, go ahead and do it. Because like Aaron said, yeah, it is important to get that 10. But one thing we need to remember in this game is that what's more important than getting a terror on your first go is preventing the other team from getting a terror and not dying. If you're going to go in there and die because of you're trying to steal 10 from their side, and then you're dead, you're in the trash, or back on the fountain, and then they come and kill the rest of your team, take all of the seeds, and get almost 180 seeds in one go.
Right.
That's detrimental to your team.
Right.
And I've seen that happen more often than I can count.
I would say teamwork on this map is pretty heavy. I mean, like communication wise.
Absolutely.
You're gonna have to talking like top or bot, what are we doing when night falls? What's the strat? What's going to happen? These are things that need to be talked about before.
At the beginning of the game,
exactly.
It's your responsibility to say, at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, which camp are you going to be standing at?
Right.
Yeah.
And then ping it out, work it out. Time tags, typing in when the next thing is going to happen, really useful in a map like this.
Yes.
Particularly because we know 3 minutes and 20 seconds after whenever night ends, it's going to happen regardless what's going on. So you need to be ready and in place.
Some other quick tips and hints that I can think of on this map. If you're in the terror, if you're driving the terror, I'd say almost avoid team fights until it's towards the end of the game, because a terror does a lot of damage even to a level 20 tank. But at the beginning of the game, the terror is still rather weak. So what you want to do is, it's like run to the lane that the least amount of enemies are in, throw down your plant, and then run up to the next lane. Throw down your plant, run to the next lane, throw down your plant. Just bounce it around like that for the first couple of terrors. And, I could be completely wrong about the strategy, but this is what I found works out best for me. And then in the late game, just pick one lane, stick in that lane, and if they're trying to fight you, hit them. You're going to deal a lot of damage to them. The rest of your team will hopefully be there. And if you can turn around, a 5v5 fight with a terror on your side into quickly a 3v5 or, a 2v5 because you were wailing on them, it doesn't matter if you haven't taken down any structures with your terror, because then suddenly you're out of the terror, half their team is dead, and then you're there to take down the structures yourself.
Right. Another tip for the terror, when you throw down that plant... put your Q on top of it.
Absolutely.
That prevents all the melee people from attacking it.
Right.
Only ranged people can at that point, and it's going to take them a second to get it down.
And then I think this is going to run counterintuitive to what at least I had done initially, or I think what you still do, and things like that. You see a lot of people throwing the plant over the wall. If the gate and the tower are still up, I now like to throw the plant on top of myself outside of the wall. So my terror is standing on top of the plant, meaning that 9 times out of 10, when someone goes to attack the plant, they end up only hitting you. Instead of the plant, it keeps your plant alive a lot longer.
Yeah, definitely, especially if things like their fountain are still up.
Right.
Because you can get that from outside the wall.
Yeah, you can. So really it's about keeping that plant alive, because that does tons of siege damage, and keep it alive by using your Q smartly. So let's take a quick break before we go into the Watch Us Climb segment and talk about the bruisers that we've been hinting at. This is something I've talked about previously, and I really think it's going to finally happen. We've seen a lot of champions start to come out that are designated as warriors. I'm thinking Leoric here, and then previous existing warriors such as Stitches, Tyrael, Sonya, who have seen either competitive play in the past or competitive play currently. And then we got future warriors coming out, and Rexxar and Artanis, and they lend themselves to being bruisers. The reason I say Artanis lends himself to being a bruiser is because I was doing some research, like why aren't there any Diablo supports, why aren't there any StarCraft warriors, and a lot of people are saying, well, there aren't any named characters in the StarCraft universe that lend themselves to being a tank. But we've seen this emergence of a warrior segment that is definitely more bruiser than they are damage taker. And I mean, Leoric fits this specifically because if you try to go 1v5 in a fight as Leoric, you're going to die faster than you can do even a sliver of damage to the enemy team.
I've read a lot of articles entitled Leoric isn't murky, or Leoric is not intended to die.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, undying does not mean you're supposed to die and then hang out with them and just slow them unnecessarily for no reason.
Absolutely. So I think... And specifically with Rexxar here, because when you say warrior, you conjure up the image of somebody standing there in a tank in front of a raid boss, taking all the damage for the team. And Rexxar is a ranged warrior.
Like, it's very interesting.
The thing is, I think it makes up with his talent. Misha's going to be the bear in the front line.
Yeah.
They're mainly going to be attacking Misha, but that gives Rexxar, a chance to deal damage instead. So... I think that's just going to be how they work around it. But like you said, Artanis, he looks like he's going to be kind of a tanky Zeratul.
Yeah.
He's going to be quick.
That's what he looks like. It's
exactly. And with those blades, I can already see him.
Oh, he could be awesome. I can also see him being a really strong tank. Really,
because we don't know his kit.
Right,
at
there's
all.
no evidence at all at this point.
So it'll be interesting to see how this develops. I really hope they kind of segment it off, just because I'm sick and tired of seeing people in Champion Select to pick someone like Leoric, pick someone like Sonya, and
as
be like,
the prime tank.
Yeah, and it's like, don't worry, guys, I'll tank.
I
it's
got
like,
this
no,
tank.
you're not a tank. You're a
and
damage dealer.
And then they go full damage build.
Yeah. And
not
die
tanky at all.
Fast when they're playing against a Nubrak, a Murid, and a Johanna. And it's like, come on, it's like, guys, that's a bruiser class. Let's designate it as a bruiser class.
Well, let's talk about this another week, but something to consider is, does it actually matter? Does it matter because you're picking heroes based on their kit and based on their synergy together? Does calling them something different actually matter in the game? And does it lend itself to people like Uther, maybe a hybrid tank healer, or a Tassadar, Tyrande, monk, healer damage?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of hybrids out there. We should have, maybe next week or the week after, have a more in-depth conversation about, does it matter? Why does it matter?
Yeah, and I mean, maybe it's just me being picky, and I just like the name Bruiser, because I like to play Bruisers more than I like to play tanks.
I think once they're a larger pool of heroes, that's the only time they'll be able to actually maybe subcategorize a little bit more.
I definitely don't see them doing that to supports.
Well, no, but if they if they do this now and organize bruisers into tanks, I mean, there's going to be like 3 people in the real main tanks, and the rest is going to be bruisers.
But let's think about it real quick. Every class that's out there, so we got warrior, assassin, specialist, and support. And every single one of those can be divided into 2 distinct categories themselves.
Yeah.
Warrior has bruiser and tank. You got a Nubarak, Johanna, who am I missing here? Muradin.
Yeah.
Characters like that easily fill the tank role. And then you got all the bruisers, Sonya, Tyrael, Stitches, Arthas, stuff like that. And we don't know, where these future warriors are going to fall into place. But that can be happening there. Assassins can be divided up into
like tanky assassins.
Well, auto attack assassins and mages.
Oh,
you got Kael'thas, you got Jaina, you got I'm forgetting someone, I think, but you got those mages there, and then you got the auto attack ones. You got Tychus, you got Raynor, you got Vala. It's like the ones that do auto attack damage.
I don't know how they do specialists.
And then, specialist, you got the XP getters. So you got Lost Vikings, you got Muradin, you got Abathur, and then you got the camp. Not Murky, sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you got the camp takers, Sylvanas, Asmodin,
Zagara,
Zagara. The people that sure can sit in the lane all day, but they really excel at taking camps. And then you got your supports. You got the true supports, the ones that pretty much cannot do anything unless they have somebody around them to help them. Yep. So you got Lily, you got Brightwing.
It's so depressing to me, and this happened the other game, and given the Lily that I was playing with, first picked Lily in Hero League, so that kind of tells you the level of player that they are.
Right.
And they really wanted to get a bruiser camp, so they just go and they just stand there at the bruiser camp, and they're just waiting.
Right.
Someone will eventually come by, and a terror, I forget what objective was up. So we're all pushing together, and there's Lily standing at the bruiser camp. Guys, come help!
Is she pinging?
But he's supporting.
Yeah,
she's supporting.
Yes. So you got the true supports. You got the ones that can't do anything. Uther, I would say, falls into that category. Sure, he's a little tanky, but then you got the damage dealing supports. You got Tassadar, you got Rhaegar, you got Tyrande.
Yeah.
It's like you got that. So each one can be divided into it. So what I almost wondering is if they just make a tree out of every class and
nice.
Say here's a tank, here's a bruiser, here's a camp taker, here's an XP getter, here's whatever and ever, a mage, here's a actual assassin, things like that. So
it would be interesting.
Yeah, and I doubt it would really change the dynamic of the game or whatever, but I think it would be more appropriate labeling,
more accurate.
Yeah, it would be more accurate labeling.
Yeah,
the time has come.
Time has come
to watch us climb.
Watch it. Well, not us.
Watch Bentley climb.
Watch Bentley climb. I think every single one of us, we either didn't get to play much or we had crappy weeks. I had a really crappy week.
I moved. You can't see over there, but it's really dirty. There's boxes that need unpacked.
This granite countertop right here is new.
Yeah, this looks exactly the same. If you watched the one other episode that we streamed, it looks the exact same.
Yeah, dude, we did another one.
But it's not. It's different. It's an upgraded one. It's just the exact same layout. But I was really busy. I probably only played 5 games.
Yeah, I played 7 or 8. I lost about 3/4 of them. Oh. So I went back up to 20 and then I dropped back down to 24. I think I'm sitting at 23 right now.
I'm still at 22. I didn't move at all.
Yeah, it's been rough for me. It's like I don't know why I'm hitting this rough patch, but hey. It happens. It happens. It's preseason.
We got to change it up. Change it up.
Yeah, exactly. So, but Bentley,
dude, last night had one of the best games I've ever had in Heroes. Okay. It started off rough. We had good communication. Won the coin flip. I first picked KT. I've been on a KT spree lately. I've just been playing a lot of quick match, getting a lot of different builds going, seeing a lot of pros, talents, trees, getting those matching up. And yeah, dude, it was a great match. I'll just run down who was playing here. I was KT. There was a Jaina, a Gazlo, and a Stitches. And then the last person was supposed to pick Malfurion, and then he just switched to Muradin. And we were just like, dude, you were supposed to heal. Now we have no heals. That's a quote right there. No heals now. Yeah. That lost us the game. No. We got into the game.
Who are you playing against? Do you remember?
So we were playing against Leoric, Vala, Zeratul, Tassadar, and Uther.
All right, do you guys recognize what's missing there on their team?
Another tank.
A tank. True tank.
Exactly. And, I mean, Leoric really showed that he could not tank at all. Especially with the amount of damage we were dealing.
Right.
Insane. we were on Battlefield of Eternity, so a lot of, we needed some sustain. That's why we really needed a healer, because we're going to have long team fights in the middle over those immortals, We started off the game, a lot of good communication, okay? And compared to the other team, they were dying really early, and we were just like, okay, we might actually have this without a healer. A main thing I did differently than all the other games that I think got me to 27 kills and 0 deaths the whole game was... Dude, when have you had that in a Hero League?
It's been a while.
There you go. I think this is one of my first Hero League games.
Hero of the Storm!
Right? I got mad props at the end, too. But the main thing I did was my Verdant Spheres, I made it so every time I activated them, it heals me. I usually never go with that talent. Okay? He's a very mana-hungry hero.
Right.
I usually go with the mana just because he just needs it. In this case, I had no heals. I knew I would have to have some kind of healing something going on mid-game. So, and that saved my life multiple times, I've tell you.
I've picked that one numerous times.
Really?
It's good, period.
That
moment when you're trying to run to the fountain and you know you're not going to make it, now you make it.
And see, I had instances where Leoric was following me, Vala was, tumbling towards me, press that D, I come back and then just threw out my E with the tornado. They were just stunned, I got away. It was an easy...
Press that D, throw out that E.
Yeah.
You heard it here.
Exactly. That's the sustained combo for KT there.
There you go.
But yeah, that was the highlight of the day. I got about 3 new friend requests after that game because they were just, every other person had like 5 deaths on them, and we all had pretty good amount of kills. The other team, there was just no teamwork. You can tell.
Well, and I think it goes to show that you can survive a game without a support, but you really can't survive without someone to take damage.
Or sustain damage.
You
know what I mean? No one in the front line. And a cool thing I noticed is that an Immortal, if you're fighting with an Immortal, it's almost like a 6v5. Because the Immortal's defensive skills are insane, dude.
Right.
I can't tell you how many times the Zeratul or the Tassadar got stunned. Easy kill for me.
Yeah.
Easy kill. And, and especially on that map, while they're all bunched up killing the Immortal, my Flame Strike combo with the flame, the firebomb. That started a chain reaction. It was just easy kills all around.
Well, I'm glad you had a good week.
Yeah, dude.
Lucky duck. It's our week to have a good week, Aaron.
All right, this week we'll do it.
There you go.
And
we'll be streaming.
I think that's it for episode 15.
Yeah, so let us know what you guys thought about the live streaming of our first episode of Heroes of the Storm. It's like, or not, of Podcast Heroes. I think it went pretty well. I like it. It'll give us a chance.
Hopefully you like it.
Yeah.
Let us know.
niceguysnetwork@gmail.com. What else do we got? We got the Facebook. We got the Twitter.
Yeah.
You can find it if you want to be nice.
Yeah, exactly. We also are going to have a website hopefully up very, very soon. I know it's still a little bit in development because the 2 guys working on it are, still job hunting. They're, doing their own thing. Okay. So it's been a little bit bumpy getting there, but hopefully we'll have something up soon. We'll be able to do tier list. We'll be able to do blogs. We'll be able to keep you guys up to date throughout the week instead of just once a week on a podcast.
And check the link in the description for all of the news that we talked about this week, including the hero abilities for Monk.
Absolutely.
There's a video out showing those.
And actually, there's a lot more news to come out at Gamescom relating to Blizzard games.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for those guys this weekend and this whole week.
We'll see you next week.
We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for listening to Podcast Heroes, where we podcast about heroes.